to Phoster. I disagree with his point, obviously, which is why I'm making a response. But the idea that people are getting left behind and that they have no place in dating life, that is a problem with the system of modern dating. There shouldn't be a system where it effectively kicks out a proportion of the population, seemingly by ethnic lines, wealth lines, like if you're in poverty or if you're in lower income stratas, if you have a certain physique or not. Like, we shouldn't be discriminated against people for those reasons. If we did the same thing to, like I said in my other videos, if we did the same thing to black people, to Latin men, to Muslim men, there'd be an outcry. And yeah, you're right. People who have a lack of investment in society, they have a lack of benefit in that society existing. The people who have no benefit in the society existing aren't going to want to see it flourish or succeed. They're going to want to burn it down. Because think about it like this. If there's a brick wall in your way, a big brick wall, like it's just in front of you, you can't get past it. And it's an obstacle. You want something on the other side. Are you going to want that wall to stay up when it's an obstacle to your objective? No, you're going to want to tear it down because that wall is in your way. And in this analogy, the wall is the system, right? It is the status quo. It is the current regime. It is the Wibble status quo. It is, this kind of Wibble society. It is this kind of more feminist-focused, woman-centric society. And that is the obstacle in modern days. And I disagree. I don't think people's affection or likeness towards each other should be the decision-making practices that we have to decide who has kids and what relationships get passed or not. That's illogical. Women aren't even doing that. They aren't even doing that. They're choosing by physicality. They're choosing by wealth status, the amount of money they make. They are choosing by connections, who their dads are, who their mothers are, that sort of thing. They aren't choosing by affection or love, right? It's quite the opposite. And who would set up these arranged marriages? I don't know, just have it work like Islam, have it work like Muslim countries or like Islamic countries, where the decision of who gets to bed your daughter, who gets to wed your son, is decided by the parents. That way you don't have governments trying to, like, extradite people from dating, right? It would all be socially imposed by the families with the mandate from the government that it is being done on a family level, right? What we have now is a very soft system where it is effectively a system in place by the government. For example, if society started to shift where men were the ones who were getting asked out and men were effectively being the woman of relationships, there'd be a concerted effort by the government, the liberal status quo, to try to change things or force people into accepting the model that existed before. We can kind of see the shift in dating models with the shift of power in the United States government. When the government leaned a lot more traditional, we had systems in place where the father would decide if his daughter would wed a man. I mean, I guess we could say wed a man. And the father would have to approve of that man, and he would have to say, I want this man to be my daughter's husband. He will take care of her, right? And that kind of had, that was kind of a soft system we had. And it kind of softly changed as we had a more progressive government. So there is strings being pulled to manipulate the dating system in a way that aligns with the government, right? Because how else do you explain that? I also like to add too is that you don't have to destroy the very concept of marriage to have marriage. I mean, like, marriage was never founded on affection. It was founded on principles of land and ownership. It originally started in the UK, where what they had it for was to have families collectivize land and wealth. And that's what a marriage was. Well, yeah, because it wasn't. When you allow divorce, divorce happens. I mean, there's so many differences between men and women in terms of interest, in terms of behavioral set, in terms of how we raise them. I mean, just look at the Hank Hill video that you were talking about. The amount of expectations they are putting on men that they do not put on women is nuts. And there's no way to have a functionable friendship, relationship, any kind of sort of, situation like that, where you're effectively raised in an entirely different country with entirely different beliefs. There's no, like, men and women are effectively raised to be entirely different. So, like, it's kind of hard to shove those two people in a box and expect them to function perfectly together. Men are taught temperance, women are taught, I would say greed. And no, that's not true, though. Because if it was the breakdown of the social systems and allowing divorce and allowing alimony and allowing women to work, then it would have been as a result. Then we wouldn't have had declining birth rates in the more millennial generation, in the more boomer generation. I mean, here's the thing too. It's like I don't think the boomers had feminism. I think that was actually yeah. I don't think the boomers had feminism till after, right? And here's the thing. Even supposing they did, there is plenty of societies that do not have a woman selection principle, having women choose the mates. Like I said, Islamic societies, they have the choices done by the families, and they have a much higher birth rate. So, like, we can compare the two systems. We can compare the liberal system of letting women do whatever they want, and we can compare the system of Islam, where it's an organized system where the parents make the best choice for their daughter. And I disagree with the Islamic system on some things, but I think having the fathers choose is a very good thing. Especially in Western society, where women are effectively treated as to be children that need to be provided for, cared for, and tended for. Such a person who needs these things done for them is not capable of making a rational decision for the future of their children on who their father should be and on who they should be dating for the rest of their life. I mean, no, because there's marriages in other countries. I mean, to have arranged marriages isn't to destroy marriages. Marriages started as being arranged. Western society has just always been cucked with regards to women. That's the problem. And as feminists took advantage of the system and started adding all these problems, it just made the problem exponentially worse. And we have the anti-feminist system in Islam doing much better. Objectively, there's higher birth rates. People don't kill themselves. There's no suicides. At least not at the same level as in the West. What we have is men killing themselves, cat ladies, and Birth rates that are non-existent. I mean, that's a telltale sign that the system is failing. I noticed Nick clips on your channel. If you watch him like I do, then you know who is behind the policies that have destroyed marriages and birth rates. Um, what you're gonna say is it's the Jewish elites, and I think there is definitely manipulation from the higher ups to change the status quo of the dating scene, like I was explaining before. And like you notice these small kind of societal changes as time goes on. There is people pulling the strings. I agree with you there. But I think a lot of it was just feminist protests and them slowly seeping into the societal systems that be, governance, whatever, and them convincing their husbands and their boyfriends and their children to kind of protest the system and kind of uproot it. I don't think that would be a thing that was being done if it was entirely just the Jewish elites. I think the Jewish elites do play some role in this, obviously. I mean, like, they're the ones who, at the end of the day, have to approve decisions in the U.S. government. I mean, Trump won't even do anything unless, like, Netanyahu gives the A-OK. He's like, Netanyahu's like, Trump, don't call them starving children. They're not starving. They have diseases. And he's like, okay, Mr. Netanyahu. Mr. Netanyahu, I will not call them starving children. He like bends the knee instantly. It's like pathetic. It really shows you who runs the country. They're not a flimsy band-aid. They literally work in Islam. They literally work in Islam. Like there is functioning arranged marriages in Islam with higher birth rates, no suicides, no cat ladies. We don't have miserable women who drink wine all day to ease their troubles. Say what you must about Muslim society, but they are much happier. And when we had rules and restrictions placed on women in society in the West on who they could choose, they were also much more happier than they are now.